Howdy folks, welcome to Maverick Gun Works. Today we're going to talk about the wonderful Remington 1187 shotgun. It is made in USA also. Here we have an example of that firearm. This is the younger version of the Remington 1100 semi-automatic shotgun. And this one in mossy oak breakup camo. Right, and it's also chambered for 3-inch shells, 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells. Right. You can see we have a chamber open. There's nothing in the chamber here. As with any firearm, we always make sure it's unloaded before we start playing with it. And here we'll go through just a quick reminder of what to do when you're going to clean the gun. We'll have the chamber open as it is now. We'd run a swab through the barrel and also solvent inside the chamber here. Run that out the barrel, come back with a clean dry patch, and follow that up with some light oil lubrication. And tell you what I'll do, I'll go ahead and take the barrel off right quick and show you one of the easiest things to do that you can do to maintain these guns. Take your mag cap off, which by the way, this one comes from the factory with a swivel on it for your sling, so that's a neat feature. All right, we'll take our stock off. And with our bolt locked back in the rear position, open it, wiggle a little bit, we'll pull the barrel off. Okay, makes it much easier to clean. So you can run your swab through your barrel as typical. And I also would suggest if you shoot it a lot, especially to go put some solvent around inside this chamber, and make sure the gas ports in here are cleaned out. So you can you see the holes down in the bottom there. That's where your gas is coming from your barrel into the action to make it operate semi-automatic. This one also has a screw-in choke, and this one comes with a modified choke, which there's not a vast array of options as far as chokes, screw-in chokes go. This being the rim choke model. All right. And with that, another thing to look for on this gun, maintenance-wise, is this little O-ring right here. And this will wear out over time. It's going to wear eventually anyway. So if you want to look for any flat spots after it's been shot for a while, and age also, if it has been several years since you've replaced this little O-ring, I would suggest you probably should check it every season before you start hunting. If you see any cracks showing up or flat spots where it's worn, just go ahead and replace it. And to do that, I would suggest too that you can just pull this off when you get ready to replace it. Make sure you clean your magazine tube here, because this action does slide up and down on your mag tube. And here, your piston and seal here. Also as a wear point, but these last a very long time. You're much more likely to have a problem with your rubber O-ring. But when I put these O-rings on, I would suggest that you put some just one layer of tape around the threads right here. Maybe some blue painter's tape or any kind of tape really would work, just so you can lessen the likelihood of the O-ring being damaged as you slip it over the threads, so you don't snag on it and get any kind of tear on the O-ring. Right. You take your tape back off and put the barrel back on. Nothing to it. It's pretty simple. And two, another good option as far as taking the barrel off when you clean it, you'll be able to access the inside of the chamber a lot better. You have much more open access to cleaning the grit out of here. And with a hunting gun to start with, you're going to have debris, especially in wintertime with duck hunting and bird hunting. You're likely to have straw or leaves or something to accumulate inside your chamber, inside your magazine well, or not in the magazine well, and also in the receiver. And what I would suggest too, if you really feel energetic and if you're comfortable with it, when you release, you push a button down here to release your bolt, let the bolt come forward. You can push out a pin here and also a pin here. Take a trigger group out and clean out your trigger group, and you'll be able to access the back of the receiver and be able to clean out in the back of the receiver also. Just be cautious of when you replace your trigger group back into the receiver, there is a tab that must go. I can get my fingers down the way you can see. We'll grab a little pointer here. So use this punch for a pointer. But down inside, this is your shell latch that will operate when the bolt moves back and forth. And the tab that is here I'm pointing at is a tab that is part of your trigger group assembly. This tab, when you put it back in, must go under that latch or the gun will not work. And actually, probably in most cases, the trigger group won't even close back down inside the receiver. So just one little nuance, I guess, of a Remington 1187. This latch has to be under that tab for the gun to operate correctly. All right. But once you put it back in, get it like it's supposed to be, it'll work lovely for you. All right. And to put the barrel back on, I'm going to pull our bolt back and slip our barrel back into the chamber here. A little bit of wiggle. Snap it back down. And we'll see it fits just lovely. Pour him back on. All right, screw our grip cap back down. And there's a small detent built into your forend that will have you'll feel it clicking. I guess that's what I believe is actually on this gun, is made into the magazine cap. But it has a little detent so that you have some resistance, and that way it don't vibrate loose when you're shooting the gun. All right, finger tight, that's all you need. And there you go, she's ready to rock and roll again. And then we'll get this gun here. I've been kind of holding it in my hand, the feeling of it, how it fits your palm of your hand. There's a good little padded section here, textured, where the palm swell fits the palm of your hand really nicely. And again, we've got textured on the texturing up here on our forearm. And then this gun also, being a synthetic stock, Remington has chose to mold the sling swivel into the back of the stock here. So you have a hole here to put your sling swivel connector into. And then for this one, a fairly good, cushy rubber recoil pad. Right. Works pretty well. Right. I like that actually. A lot of synthetic guns don't have much of a recoil pad in them. This one is pretty substantial, I believe. All right, right from the factory. And with that, let's go ahead and close the bolt. All right, we push our latch under here. That will slam the bolt forward, just like that. Make sure your fingers are out of the way, because it will smack your fingers. All right. And that being the case, I suggest that you really just go ahead and push the latch and let the bolt slam. It's not going to hurt the gun at all. That's what it's designed for. And I've seen a lot of folks would try to let that go down easy by holding it with your fingers. If the gun is operating correctly, you don't have to. Just let it slam. That's what it's supposed to do. Because I guarantee you, when you fire the gun, it comes back and slams forward faster than you can blink an eye. Okay. So let's do a little trigger pull test and see what we have here. With our safety on, all right, our safety does work. So the trigger did not move. And let's hook our RCBS trigger pull gauge into position here and give her a little pull and see what happens. And we got 4 pounds. That's pretty good. That's what I would expect for a really reliable shotgun. It's not going to be a target type this situation with a 1 pound trigger pull or something like a bitch rifle might be, but for a shotgun, hunting shotgun, works really good. If you can't tell, I like these guns actually. With the cause gas system in them, they shoot fairly softly compared to a single shot or a pump shotgun, and that's a good feature if you're going to, especially if you're going to be shooting dove hunting or duck, something like that, where you're going to be firing a lot in succession. That little bit of lesser recoil makes a big difference when you go hunting all day and have to shoot a lot. But anyway, hope that is informative for you. And if there's something we can help you with Maverick Gun Works, look us up. Thanks for watching.